Hey everyone, welcome to the video that I'll be doing on Bitcoin today. Today is Friday. It is February 21st, 2020, and it is 11 o'clock in the morning Eastern time. And before I get into this, of course, this isn't financial advice. I'm not your financial advisor. You're responsible for your own trades, managing your own risk, doing your own research. I'm giving my opinion on the market here. And so let's go ahead and take a look here. All right, so I was out on the Discord. We were looking at things. We were looking at the charts yesterday, and we made the determination, at least at the time, that we were going to be going up. So my long position is actually on a futures contract, which was the equivalent of approximately 95.50, somewhere in this area right here is where we were making the determination that likely I was going to take a long position. And I've done that. I've done that. And so now I'm struggling because the target for this upside was going to be at 9,800, although I recognize that 99.25 is also a possibility as well. And what I'm doing for this, let me see if I can clean this up, because we already recognize that this box here is from this volume cluster. So I'm going to remove this. I just want to clean things up a little bit because there's just a lot going on here on the chart, and I don't want to confuse anybody. So I just want to remove a lot of this other garbage and junk that I've got. So I've got two Fibonacci pulls that I've got on here. One is a trend-based fib, which is this one right here. Let me just go ahead and move it around so you can see this moving. And what I'm doing is I'm starting from here at the top, working my way down, measuring this wave, and I'm projecting it from the top of this wave. And I'm pulling this out so we can see it for for the time frame that we're looking at this. So first target, really was down here at the 618, which we kind of flew through, and we went all the way down here to the 100, and now we're pulling back. We're pulling back on here, and what I was expecting to see from this, let me pull out my my tools here, and what I expected to see from this was its own A, and then a B, and then a C, and we kind of did that. Now I haven't moved this red projection here at all, although I do think that we still are going to see slightly higher prices. I do think that's probably going to happen. But I'd just be very careful buying up here. The place to buy, in my opinion, was back here, because what we're starting to see the 12-hour cross bearish again. I'm going to go to a different chart here in just a moment just to outline this for you so we can see this with a little more clarity. But this candle back here, which was about 1, 2, 3, 4 hours ago, this candle 4 hours ago turned red, which means that the 12-hour is crossing bearish. And the last time it crossed bullish was back here at the same price range. So at this price range it crossed excuse me, it crossed bullish and we shot up. But then we had a major rejection, and now it's back to being cross bearish again. So this is my only caution for buying up here. Although, again, I am long from down here in the 95.50 range. My take profit is at 9,800. I've got another take profit at 9,900, and then I've got about 10% of that position that I'm just kind of leaving in. We'll call it house money, if you will, to see if this does happen to go any higher. What I'm paying attention to as far as resistance goes, I'm going to go all the way back to this level right here, the bottom of this, and moving itself out. We've got support cluster, resistance cluster, support cluster. We break up above, we cluster above it, and then we break down below. So if we come back up to this, I expect it's not going to make it through that level, which is, it's over 10,000, 10,050 in that range. I don't expect we're going to get that high. I think it's going to be really hard for us to push through 9,900 to 9,950. I think it's going to be very hard for us to push through that. So really, there's very limited upside here. Although, again, if this is an ABC, and then going to go in for this 9,800 to 9,900, very possible for that to happen. But you also have to recognize that it is possible that we may have capped out here. Although again, I am in that long position. I am looking for a move up to 9,800 to 9,900. This range is where I'd be looking to close out of those positions and actually start looking at opening up short positions. Um, and of course, managing your risk on the other side of the 65. If we get up to 10,000, just be careful in that area. Probably is a better probability to short at the 99.50 level and to stop loss on the other side of 10K, because if we break through 10K, you can see here, we come down and then we break through 10K almost like it doesn't exist. But we have technically made a lower high here. So, we really have to take out 10,300 in order to really maintain a good level of bullishness. I don't think that we've got, a good candidate for an inverted head and shoulders or anything like that. We did make a new low here, but to make an inverted head and shoulders, we'd have to come all the way back up here to 10,300. So we'll see how that goes. For now, looking at our indicator without looking at the price, we can see the 1 hour has crossed, and it tried to make a bullish cross here, but it immediately got rejected 2 hours later. We're coming down. The 3 hour is still pretty erect, but the 12 hour has crossed bearish. The 12 hours crossed bearish, and give this a little bit more time and it's going to be completely confirmed that this is going to be crossing bearish. The rejection that we had a couple days ago really fuels that fire that, we may see some more selling pressure upcoming in the next couple days, maybe this weekend. Still remains to be seen. But so that's kind of my view on this. Let's take a look at CME futures. CME futures closed the gap perfectly. So the closure on this candle was here at about 10,475, and you can see the wick that we got up here to close that gap went to 10,545, and it was sold into with a decent amount of volume on that as well. So I'm going to go ahead and remove these just to kind of show this. As far as from a daily standpoint goes, I had marked off the bottom of that daily candle here from where we basically where we closed this, and or sorry, not closed, but where we had the bottom, and we closed that gap perfectly. And then from where the day candle closed, this is actually up just a little bit higher from where the candle closed, and we closed this as well. So this is just really, if you're a gap trader, we closed this gap perfectly. So now now what comes next? What comes next? Do we have another gap here? It looks like we probably do. So are we going to come all the way back up here again to close this gap? That remains to be seen. Because of the wick that we have here, I don't see this as a gap, as most other gaps that we're interested in closing. Some other gaps to pay attention to are going to be further down here. We've got this gap here at 7,600. We've got this gap here, which is at about 8,500. And keep in mind that CME trades at a premium compared to it trades at a premium compared to spot. Yeah, I'm just reading some of the comments here in the chat. The 12 hour is bearish. Honestly, I don't really pay attention to the 10 hour, so probably would need to pay attention to that. The daily looks pretty bearish here. The daily looks extremely bearish on this on the CME chart as far as going down. So let me go ahead and let's take a look at the 10 hour and see what the 10 hour looks like on here. So I'm going to remove the 12 hour and I'm going to remove the 3 hour, which leaves the green, which is basically whatever my current time frame is. So first, let's take a look at the 12 hour. We were paying attention to the 12 hour, which has crossed bearish. Even on CME, this has crossed bearish on this. Let's go to a 10 hour chart. 10 hour. Let's see here so on the 10 hour, let's wait for this to load. Yeah, 10 hour doesn't look that bad to me. I mean, really the 10 hour looked bad back here. The price is going up while the Stochastic is going down. So I don't know. We'll have to see. I think this actually has an opportunity for us to move up a little bit here. And as far as how we're trading against the 21 exponential, let me pull up the 21 exponential. On the 10 hour, we were trading below the 21 exponential. here, which is at 99.10. And as far as the daily goes, 21 exponential, we are trading above that, which is sitting there at 96.65. So we're trading about $20 above the 21 exponential on the daily. We did attempt to close below that yesterday, but we have had a push back above there. And really, this is the first time we've traded on the 21 exponential on the daily as far as CME is concerned since back here, at the right at the cross of the new year. So we're doing a test of this. And again, it's the very first time we've really done this. Let's take a look at this on Bitstamp and see what this looks like on Bitstamp as far as the 21 exponential goes. We traded yesterday below that, and we're trying to push back above it here. Again, looking at the daily, the cross on the daily happened, actually back here almost at the peak at 10,350, and we're crossing down from there. So this looks pretty interesting to me that we're trying to push back above the 21 exponential. So we're going to have to give this a little bit of time and wait and see. I do think ultimately we are going to be pushing down. And let me just go ahead and fix this. This is a fib pull that I've got from a while back. Coming back down here to the 55, which is going to be at about 9,100. I do think that it is possible we come down to 9,100 to 9,000 over the next probably next week or so. Just to give my overall bias. And again, I'm probably going to eat my words for saying this in public, but over the next, I would say, month, I do think that we're going to come back to the 8,000 to 8,400 level. I think that's probably going to happen over the next 30 days. And so I'm just, I'm keeping my eyes open here, and I'm just being very cautious, being too bullish up here, because we do have some pullback here. And this could be seen, I'm going to go ahead and blow this all away. What this could be seen as is a little bit of an expanding wedge. So this is basically like an inverted triangle where we're creating this type of a formation here. So just keep an eye out for this, where it is possible that we do over time come back up here to like maybe 10,150, and then we would get rejected and we come even lower. So just watch out for this, because what we saw here in this candle, and you can see it in our volume structure. In our volume structure, that was a lot of selling pressure, more selling pressure that we've had in a long time. And I'm looking at 4-hour candles. The last time we saw this much volume was in November of 2019. And let's see what happened in November of 2019. That was actually this candle all the way back here, where we went from 7,500 down to 7,100 and actually broke through. So that was the last time we saw that much selling pressure. So there is definitely some profit taking going on here. Obviously, you can see the accumulation that was occurring back here in this range, more accumulation going on here in this range. And again, this is the most selling that we've seen, in a long, long time. So I'm being very careful here in this area. On the 4-hour time frame, just to put things into perspective, on the 4-hour time frame, the 21 exponential crossed below the 100 exponential. We are trading below the 21 exponential on a 4-hour time frame, and we're also obviously trading below the 55 and the 20 simple moving average. So just keep an eye on these levels here. And if we're going to take a look at support and resistance, let's go ahead and look at a 12-hour time frame for support and resistance and see what we have as far as support and resistance goes. This level right here, which is what we are pushing up against right now, which is going to be right here at about 9,800. So I would say 9,800 is the level to watch. I would be interested in shorting here at 9,800 and having a stop loss probably on the other side of this level right here. And so we'll go ahead and put this up. This level right here is where I'd be interested in doing a stop loss. That's going to be right on the other side of 99.50. And again, what I'm looking for a longer term trade. So doing a trade that looks a little bit like this is probably going to work out, in my opinion. Coming back down here to the 100 exponential. So targeting 91.50, shorting at 9,800, doing a stop loss at, we'll just call it maybe on the other side of 10K just to be safe. give it a little bit of wiggle room, but you're looking at a 3-to-1 odds here, a potential 6.73% gain, and looking at about 2% loss. You know, you can look at leverage on this as well, multiplying that by whatever leverage you're looking at. So if you're looking at 10x leverage, which I don't recommend, it's just easy math, you're looking at about 67% gain for a potential 20% loss. 20% loss is pretty significant in a portfolio, so just be careful with that. But again, keep in mind that the 12-hour is currently crossing bearish right now. That doesn't mean that the price is going to keep going down. I do think we are going to see a bit of upside, again, looking at that 98 to 9900 level. You know, if you're going to be taking a short here right at 9800, you probably will have an opportunity to layer in a little bit more. 21 exponential on the 12-hour is sitting there at 9840. So you know, maybe you take a little nibble here, 9800, with your larger bites here at 9850, and potentially even taking that all the way up to 9900 as we were talking on the other charts. But I do think that there is rejection that is likely going to happen. A couple things that I see, we've got two candle bodies that failed to really make any movement on these 12-hour candles back here. So keep an eye on this level right here, which is, you know, right at that 9900 to 9930 level. So that is where I would be interested in, you know, being a little scared in a short position, but ultimately cutting my losses on the other side of 10K. All right. Well, I've talked for a little longer than I expected, but that was really kind of me wanting to just kind of voice my opinion on Bitcoin to you guys. And if this video did help you in any way, shape, or form, like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. And wherever you are in the world, I hope you're having a good day, a good night, and a great evening.